We know there are many choices in internet radio, and the staff and host of LA Talk Live would like to thank you for choosing the internet's hottest destination for the most eclectic sound and invigorating talk. This is LA Talk Live. We are more than just talk.
Still going strong, trusting God when it's good or when it's going wrong. Encourage other believers to keep holding on. Casting the vision and we making it plain. We the head, not the tail, so we won't complain. Here to lift up the downcast and the broken hearted. Changing lives with the truth, so let's
get it started.
We got the word, music and the light. You can catch us on the air
every single night. I know the volume must be pretty loud. Yeah, you might want to turn our mics down because I'm not even there, and I can just like. Yeah, I almost blew somebody's eardrums off. What's up? This is GospelRhythms.com, Talk Live Radio on LATalkLive.com. Man, the final 2014 edition. I'm Ro Williams.
Hey, y'all. I'm Trisha Mann Grant.
Wow, can you believe the year is over?
I can't believe it. It
Man,
feels like we just had our first show at the beginning of 2014.
I'm like, for real? It's done. It's a wrap. About to be deuces. Wow. The last Sunday. Wow.
How you feel?
Well, you know, as we are empowered to shine, I pray that as I reflect back that the Lord feels I did an okay job of my efforts.
An okay job.
Yeah, man, you know.
Oh, wow. Girl.
And that tagline, being empowered to shine, is most challenging when you have adversities and challenges and travails of various kind. But you know one thing, as for those of you who are tuning in on our year-end edition, we have a special treat in store. And at service this morning, Mr. T. Grant, who is in the house.
Mr. Tony Grant, Anthony Grant.
Man, he blessed my soul when the pastor called him up and how he mentioned about the various things that, you know, and without even going into details, like, you know, I need prayer. My family needs prayer. My wife needs prayer. I could go into families. But I love the fact that it doesn't matter what you're going through. You should still have a heart, a thankful heart to the Lord, you know. So the main thing is, as you are striving to shine that light for Christ in the midst of whatever you're going through, and, you know, really tap into his power so you can just thank him regardless. You know, I mean, we got to thank God for this year with his highs, his lows, his ups and downs.
That's right, because we're still here. Just like we said last time, we're still standing. You know, one of the things that stood out to me that Pastor Sanchez said at church today was strengthen your grip because victory is near. So strengthen your grip, meaning hold on, y'all. Hold on. Just hold on just a little bit longer because victory is right around the corner. It's coming. It's here. It's near. But you got to hold on. And I know that for me, what I'll be working on in 2015 is my faith, strengthening my faith and believing what it is that I'm praying for, believing what it is I know God is able to do. And I just need to take that up a notch. Yeah.
I was like, Lord, I want to not just have wisdom, but execute it accordingly and just be smart about it and to be consistent and to be faithful and to not be wishy-washy or, you know, just like when when the first of the month, for the 1st of January, everybody going to be 21 days, going to be in the gym. Come the 4th month, they ain't going to know what a gym look like or what good food looks like because they're going to revert back to their old ways.
You didn't even say February. You said the 24th.
Just know that
I can't make it till February.
Man, let me tell you. I just want to be consistent, consistent and diligent and faithful. You know what I'm saying?
Consistency in 2015, people. Consistency. That's what we're claiming and believing for ourselves and believing for everyone out there. Being a woman and a man of your word, saying what you're going to do and doing what you say.
Right.
Okay. So,
and we say we're disciples, but a part of the derivative of the word disciple, and Pastor might have brought this up, but somebody in my travels that reminded me, discipline is a part of that. And it's like, I see the benefits and the fruits that bless people when they're disciplined in their walk with Christ and spending their time with the Lord and exercising and, just finding the joy even in the darkest moments of life, and why we tend to be double-minded at times when adversity hits. Like we forget, we go in, we out, we got to come up, and it's like
because we're looking at the situation, we're looking at what is going on
Right.
physically, what is in our face, and it's hard to. It's very difficult sometimes to see beyond what you're actually dealing with at that moment, because what you're dealing with to you, it's crazy, and it's like, how can I overcome this? But when we think about our entire lives on this earth so far, every single challenge, obstacle, and situation we've actually overcome.
Yeah.
We've or dealt with it or gotten through it somehow, some way, because why? We're still here, we're still standing. So
and then it's like while you're going through, then you get maybe sidetracked because God has given you a task or a vision or a dream that you are walking in, believing He's going to assist you to fulfill. And when I had this talk with Audrey, because God blessed her to go to her new promised land, which is in Georgia. And I had to remind her, I said, Audrey, I said, before you even got down there on this retirement fixed income with really no idea how you were even going to get down to Georgia, you just knew God had put in your heart is what you believe God. I said, all those doors that He had available to you when you had your sister, what happened was her sister had a home and told her she could rent that home, and then told her at the last minute, nah, that's okay. I believe that you're going to be coming down here. And so that was a great disappointment after she believed God had blessed her tremendously. But had she wallowed in being upset at her sister, she would have missed the blessing of asking her sister to take her to see another house that was some distance away. Because remind you, she's in Georgia. She doesn't know anybody in Georgia, but her sister lives there. And so her sister took her to see this house. Not only did she end up getting that house, but they ended up, because she had left, she ended up on faith. They actually held it for her. She didn't have the money to send a deposit down, and just talking with someone, she's like, oh, my mom and I will bless you with $200. And so these sort of things kept setting the wheel in motion, right down to even how she was able to be moved out of her apartment because she didn't have the money to pay the movers. But God doesn't need your money to open a door. And I told her, all those doors were already open in place. You just had to take the step of action and faith and believe that God was going to direct you in the way that you should go to get to the blessing He already had laid up for you. And so that encourages me because, this was a challenging year, and, car accident. But in the midst of the car accident, I can't worry about how I was going to get another car. And it's just a material thing. It wasn't my car, it was God's car. The only thing I had to do was celebrate and thank you, God, that I am alive and the people that I hit are alive. And the person that hit me didn't cut us on the run.
And now you have a beautiful brand new car.
Well, you know what? God.
Can I tell?
No,
it's
just a car.
It's just a car. It's just a Beamer.
It's just a car.
It's
It's just a car.
BMW. It's beautiful and it's blue like Dallas Cowboy colors.
It's
gorgeous. It's so gorgeous.
The devil is alive.
I love it.
It's black.
Dallas Cowboys. Yeah. Okay. Oh, gee.
But no,
How do
seriously.
we go there? I'm going to bring it
No,
on
yeah,
back.
bring it
in.
on back.
Okay,
But yeah.
right.
So, but
No,
God
I was
is
about to
faithful,
ask what's your biggest challenge and your biggest blessing so far this year?
Well,
we're
really,
gonna ask Tony Grant too when he comes on here.
Well, mine is the biggest challenge and the biggest blessing is really gospel rhythms, for me, because, after we've been here 3 years, yay, thank you, LA Talk Live, woohoo! This will complete our third year because we started in January of for me, because
Oh no, I heard that. Double.
Yeah, I know, right?
Oh,
double, echo of row.
All right.
But I think for me, it's like, that's why talking with Audrey was so profound that I just said, I was like, you know what? I need to continue to just be diligent and faithful in the direction I believe God is calling me to go, and trust that those doors are already open. But I'll never know if I don't go.
What's funny is sometimes we are better at giving other people advice, and we're better at ministering to others than we are at actually ministering to ourselves. But God has given us the ability to encourage and minister ourselves. We just have to do it.
Right.
And when I do practice that, it's just amazing how wonderful I feel. But like my husband tells me all the time, baby, change your thoughts. So another thing I'll be working on in 2015 is changing my thoughts and working on believing, and So I can't.
What were your
you know what?
challenges?
Oh, girl, and I want to ask Veneric too. What your Veneric? I want to ask you too. What your challenge and what your biggest blessing was? From January to April, perhaps. We had a challenge at home. I mean, I'm not going to go into detail, but with one of my children, and honestly, there were times when I thought that I could not see the light at the end of the tunnel.
And as a parent, it really must be, because you're trying to focus on your gifts, your talents with God, and then you got all this chaos and disorder on the side. Like, how do you even manage, like, from...
Oh, well, what's funny is
to be able to do both?
I was working on a film, and in the middle of a play that Tony and I were doing, then we had a tour coming up, and it was 4 things I was working on, and Tony looked at me and said, "Okay, I want you to quit everything because it's too much." There are times that you feel like when stuff hits home that there's just no way. You feel like you're losing it. And so I knew that had I quit, I was toward, mid to end with all of these projects. Well, actually the beginning with the tour. I didn't want to quit. I just didn't. And I said to him, I can't, baby, because I think if I quit, I'll lose my mind for real, because all I'll do is sit in the house and dwell on what we're dealing with right now. And it was rough. It was really rough, especially to all the moms out there going through with your children. Please be encouraged and know that there is a light at the end of the tunnel.
And God provided you with the alternate course of action that enabled you to still be able to maintain and grow in an area that He's planted you to do. And I think a lot of times when the distraction of whether it be a car accident or a sibling being ill or a child going prodigal, that's the enemy's way to try to come against your purpose of what God has assigned for you to do. Mm-hmm. And so He wants us like a spacecraft entering the atmosphere out of control to burn up in the atmosphere of our life, so that not only is the situation chaotic and a mess, now you're along. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. I mean, I would go to rehearsal sometimes and trying to keep up the big, hey, how's everybody doing? Yay! And then end up midway through rehearsal, just at some point breaking down, or one person give me a hug, and it was like, you ever give somebody a hug and you're going through something, all of a sudden
you
just
like
you just lose it.
The comfort is just a place where you
right.
just want to explode. Yeah.
Right. And I love Oba Babatunde. He's an incredible actor, but he directed this particular production, and he was so patient with me. He was really patient, and everybody in the cast got together and prayed for me. And you don't find that everywhere.
Especially in the entertainment industry.
Right. Some people be like, okay, you're fired. Next. Okay, we don't have time for this. You and your personal drama, bringing it in. But sometimes personal drama does affect the workplace, or does just affect you in your friendships and your relationships. And I thank God for my husband for praying with me and for me and being strong and us dealing with it together. And I thank God that my child has grown and he's in a much better place. And, for all you prayer warriors out there, just keep him lifted up. Just keep him lifted up. He's going to be just fine. And I know it. That was my greatest challenge. Oh, my greatest blessing is always working with my husband.
Y'all been like doing a daggone thing. We got a couple flyers. I think I got a picture of them on Missing Pendant. And I don't know, are y'all in Bound and Gagged as well?
We did Bound and Gagged.
We got a picture of that too. What else?
We did. We just got through doing that. About a week ago or so.
Oh yeah, that sounds kind of crazy. You might want to.
Well, that was it was about domestic violence, which we just dealt with.
Domestic violence is clarify, because Bound and Gagged sound like it could really be about something else.
Well, that depends on where your mind is.
Hey, it's in the world. Jesus. That's what I'm saying. That's weird.
So Bound and Gagged. He actually beat me down on stage in the show. And in the show, y'all, okay? Don't get it twisted.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to see some nerves.
Trisha Mann
Grant
he
gets
beat
beat down by Tony Grant every night. No, it wasn't like that. We and it was based on Shannon Wren's true story of abuse and how many she was actually in it for years with her children, and her children were being abused. But now she's out of it. She's a writer, producer, and a strong woman of God, and just her support life are her children. They're doing wonderful. And we are in Something Miraculous, TDE, Ms. Toussaint
Now,
Duchess
what exactly
Lady
that? Is that a play?
Campbell. That is a play. Beverly Crawford, who is
Yeah, I
actually
saw that, but I
Tony's
wasn't
cousin.
sure if that was a play or if you guys were invited to speak, because I'm confused
No.
sometimes.
It's a play, and it's about a woman who finds out that her child, who she thought was dead, 17 years later is still alive. The baby was born stillborn, but she didn't know. And it's actually an ongoing play.
This is
so
true
she'll
story,
be
though?
doing this. I don't think so. I have to talk to Miss Toussaint. I don't think so.
Okay. And where is it going to be?
It will be in Jacksonville, Florida, 5 p.m. and 8 p.m. on January the 4th. And
where
you
at?
do have I knew you was going to ask me that. Why, baby? Why she asked me that question?
Wait, I can pull up your Facebook
At the
page. It's
what?
on your Facebook.
The Ritz.
Right.
Oh, I can't hear you. You got these big old earphones. Okay, the Ritz.
Man, y'all
he's
just
he's
be
like
killing.
he's like giving me
The Ritz.
like I can
Yeah,
read.
read his
You know,
lips.
I can't. I can't.
Yeah.
Okay. You
It's
can talk.
called the Ritz.
Thank you, Mr. Grant. There's the microphone.
Well,
Thank
oh
you.
my goodness. Real quick, Van Eric, our engineer, what was your high and your low challenge of the year?
Well, thank you for allowing me to be part of the final show of the year. First of all, thank you.
You're welcome.
My biggest challenge is the fact that I'm almost 60 years old.
Wow, you look great.
And the challenges of a person my age has to deal with as far as health-wise. Luckily, God has allowed me to not be afraid to go and make sure that my health is as good as it can be at my age. Doing tests that for a male,
I already know what you're talking about. It ain't
you know what I
cough, bend
mean, with
over.
the prostate thing and so on and so forth, is a very interesting experience. I'm gonna put it like that. Uncomfortable and
They
all
put
the,
you to sleep for that.
no, they lie. They lie. They tell you you're not gonna feel nothing, but they lie. They lie.
Man, but
You're
don't
trying
women
to
have to get that
scare.
too?
No,
test?
that's something else. But
They should
I'll
put
find
y'all
out. I'll find out tomorrow through a phone call, the results of the biopsy.
Oh, you're fine.
Yeah, because everything else was fine,
In
and so on and
Jesus'
so on
name,
and
you are
all that.
fine.
My greatest reward?
I mean, what did you say?
So that was your greatest challenge. It's
Challenge.
just dealing with
Greatest victory.
being over 60 and all the
We're
health
not over
issues that
60,
come.
about to hit 60.
About to hit 60. I done made you over 60.
Yeah, exactly.
You-
Hold on.
I would say it's great. I would say your greatest victory was getting through that test.
Well, you know what? Let me say this. First of all, I know you're going to be fine and blessed, whether no matter what they say. Okay,
Right.
because you are over this establishment, LA Talk Live,
Right.
and you have opened the door for so many people to be a blessing and have a platform to touch and inspire lives. So
Yeah.
you have already done such a wonderful thing, and
Well,
God
thank you.
is going. We already agree and decree in Jesus'
Amen.
name that your
Yeah.
body is healed, no matter
Yeah.
what. You are perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
and also you look amazing for almost 60.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
you do.
Yeah, I
look
got
like
2 more
you're
years to go.
About 10 years younger or so.
Yeah,
2
yeah.
more years ago? That's
2
all
more
right.
years.
60 is young to me. I mean, I
Yeah,
look at my
yeah.
mother. She's what, 66? She looks great.
Yeah,
Great.
You
yeah,
know, these,
yeah.
60 is sexy. Sexy, not
Yeah.
60.
So you said, what's my?
Greatest victory.
And you said what else? What
Greatest
was my
victory.
great-
Your greatest challenge and your greatest victory. What's your
Well,
greatest victory?
you matter of fact, you spoke of it being a part of LA Talk Live,
Mm-hmm.
and what God has allowed me to have as far as this platform, to just the faces that I see, including you guys, the reaction or the look on your face when you come in here to do what you want to do,
Yeah.
and being in that environment, it's the greatest reward. The financial part is going to come. I know.
That's
I'm not
right.
worrying about that, but the fact that the relationships that I've gotten over this year alone, not just the beginning of LA Talk Live, but this year alone. I was looking at a documentary about the Bad Boys, Detroit. And I'm friends with John Sally now. You know, I can call him up like, yo, what's up, John? You know what I mean? I couldn't do that during them years. So, you know.
Can you ask him to be a sponsor?
I'll see what I can do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know, I'll be
Amen.
speaking to Spike Lee on the phone, you know, stuff like that. So, yeah, those
Sponsor number 2.
Yeah, sponsor number 2. So, you know, just these things, period. Yeah.
Great.
Amen.
Wonderful. Well, thank you.
And
Thank
you have a
so
show, a
much.
veteran show that you
Right.
started this
I was
year.
about to ask
Yeah.
you about
And
that.
then the
Yeah.
other show, the Van Eyck Rock Show. Do you still do
Van Eyck.
that one?
Yes.
So you do 2 shows.
I do 2 shows.
What is it you can share about being a veteran? That a lot of people, things that we don't know we need to know about the vets.
The don't believe the stereotype that because we may suffer from what we had to deal with in the wartime situation, that you can be in the same room with us and don't have to worry about us just flipping out and flat blasting everybody in the room.
Wow.
Going postal, you mean?
Yeah, going postal and stuff like that.
So people think that about all vets?
Well, a
Just
lot of
because-
yeah. Just because they know that war is very ugly, and you know, they had to kill men, women, and children to survive. They see a lot of death, a lot of poverty, and when we come back and see how Americans just like take it for granted for what's around them. So we get really upset. Sometimes I get upset at people when they walk around, don't realize that the only reason why they can walk around and don't have to worry about that bus blowing up or you coming out your house with a gun with a gun because you know your life is in jeopardy, and you know so you know, and not only that, realize that we as veterans, you know, we have to go through a lot just to get a little. The government only believes that when a veteran, whether him or her, loses limbs, and they get 100%, that's only worth a little over $3,000 a month. That's crazy. That's crazy. And then they make it really difficult for that woman or that male to get it. It's like, don't you see I got a missing arm?
Yeah.
And
you-
prosthetics are expensive.
Yeah. You know,
Very
I,
expensive.
I'm gonna say it on the air because I feel as though I deserve it. I had to lie just to tell them that my teeth hurt because I'm eligible to get free dental work, and all I want to do is get my teeth cleaned and hopefully whiten and get a dental check. But I had to tell them that I'm in excruciating pain.
So he just wouldn't see you. There's no health care plan after you get out.
There is, but then you got to pay for it. You got so many days before it expires. It has an expiration date on it. Because I'm going to school and I'm in a certain program. That's why dental is free. But there's rules. They're saying the only reason why I can get it, only way I can get it is because if my teeth is like so bad that when I go in front of you for an interview, you know, I mean, I look presentable. So I had to lie and
Well,
say,
we're going to have to pray that you won't have to lie in 2015
Yeah.
because our God is able. He
That's
is
right.
his
Yeah.
resources abound, and whatever is broken in his system. And we know you are just as passionate about your show and the cause of, you know, just allowing the veterans to come on your show to have a platform to speak about what they're doing post being out of whatever enlistment or war that they have may been in or been exposed to show that you can have a life after service. And so
We don't want you to lie.
yeah, we don't want
no
you to
more,
lie
no more. And
I got some
I want to
soap.
say one more thing because January the 16th, I'm gonna be a DJ, special guest DJ, out in Huntington Park.
Yay.
Yeah,
you gotta clap
rock,
yourself.
yeah,
Push
rock.
the clap button.
Okay, rocking the 70s. With 2 tribute bands. One tribute band is going to play Santana music, and the other one's going to be playing Creedence Clearwater Revival. So I got to get my my afro and you know
you
what I
better
mean, my
work
leather
it.
jacket or something like that. I might just go
And
like,
is it
like
for a
George.
cause or what's it for?
It's just to bring people together. Yeah, for veterans.
Okay,
it's going to be
cool.
for veterans too, and
shave your
wildlife,
head.
not wildlife. Animal dogs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dogs and cats and
Nice.
stuff like that. so.
Shave your head like Tony Grant. You can do the shaft thing.
Well,
okay? Get your
Shaft.
speaking of
leather
Tony
jacket.
No,
Grant.
I'm gonna do George Clinton.
George Clinton.
Yeah, back in the 70s.
Speaking of Tony Grant, we're going to toss the commercial. When we come back, we're going to give him a proper introduction. Tony! Black and yellow, baby.
We'll be back.
I'll be back from our Gospel Rhythms Talk Live.
I'm Trisha Mann Grant.
I'm Ro Williams.
And we love y'all. Thanks for being with us.
Power and authority to get it done. He opens doors, so you don't gotta kick him down. I wrote this to remind you, so stick around. For heaven party here on earth. Praise God always, and we keeping them first.
Gospel rhythms, cast the vision. Heaven's party here on earth. Make it play. Gospel rhythms, cast the vision. Heaven's party here on earth. Here on earth. Gospel rhythms, we make the word jam. It's what we live to
The
do.
word, music, entertainment, life. Tune in, it'll make you feel alright.
Gospel rhythms, we make the word jam. It's what we live to
The word,
do.
music, entertainment, life. Tune in, it's sure to change your life.
Hello, I'm Joel Ramirez
And I'm Lolita Robinson Coppage, and welcome to Joy in My House
on LATalkLive.com. Inspirational radio,
with a touch of recovery.
a reality show where nothing is left unsaid,
And no one is insignificant who says it.
exclusively on LATalkLive.com. You can also catch us on iTunes Radio R&B or watch us on Ustream TV.
Reality radio handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Hi, I'm Ro Williams, and I would like to invite you to join GospelRhythms.com every Sunday at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for our show, GospelRhythms.com Talk Live Radio. Join us as we celebrate Christians around the world in all genres of entertainment, as well as highlight interest stories on men and women who are making a difference and impacting their community. So don't forget to tune in to GospelRhythms.com Talk Live Radio, exclusively on LATalkLive.com. You can also catch us on iTunes under R&B or watch us live on Ustream TV. We are reality radio, handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is GospelRhythms.com Talk Live Radio on LATalkLive.com. We're more than just talk. We're heaven's party here on earth.
Cast the vision. Heaven's party here on earth. Here on earth.
We got singers, rappers, spoken word, and actors, and business owners, playwrights, and pastors, and many gifts to encourage the body. Consider this an invitation, come and kick it and party. We're evolving the way we deliver the gospel, same message. different
That's
message,
right. Welcome
different
back to
lines.
GospelRhythms.com Talk Live Radio as we evolve the way we deliver God's word.
I love it. I love
Yes,
it.
the gospel, the good news.
Hey, we want to give a shout out to our pastor real quick, Pastor Sanchez, Pastor Arlen Sanchez and his lovely wife, the First Lady Yuritsa, at the Covenant Church, 4830 South Genesta, y'all. 4830 South Genesta is in Encino, California. So come and praise the Lord with us at 11 a.m. on Sundays. Every Sunday, you are invited.
Yes, you are. If
Even
you're in the
in
California
Africa,
area.
come on over to America and come to the Covenant here in California. All right.
Now to today's year-end edition, we are so honored to have in-house the one, the only, the incomparable. Hey, you want to take it from here, Rib?
Girl, I'm sorry. I kind of
Yeah.
blacked
Pick your jaw
out,
up on the
just
floor.
Looking at this
Tongue all out.
handsome, amazing, gorgeous man.
Man
All
of
right.
God.
Here we go. We're gonna do it right. Introducing, ladies and gentlemen, the man, the one and only, my husband, whom I adore, Mr. Tony Grant.
Thank you very much. I want to thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Is that your Marvin? Is that
Thank
your
you.
Marvin
Yes,
Gaye
it
voice?
is. Thank you so
Hi,
much.
Marvin.
How are you?
Wonderful. It's great to
Very
see
good.
you.
I'm just so glad to have both of y'all grace my presence on the West Coast.
You should
Because
be.
y'all been
You
just
should be.
worldwide all year long. I'm just saying.
Oh, you making a joke about
we've
us
been
being
moving.
gone?
I ain't mad at you.
You ain't mad
You gotta
at
get
us?
out there and,
gotta go
earn
get
them
it.
dead presidents for the kingdom.
What
gotta
a
go get it.
year.
That's
What
right.
a year.
Amazing, man. We brought you in, just to just share what God has been doing in 24. Like we asked that question, answer that question for
That's
us.
right, Miss Grant.
And that question would be,
Would
what
be
was my challenge and my
Your
success?
victory.
Okay,
Your biggest
yeah.
victory.
Right.
Wow, mine's a little deep. Mine's a little more spiritual. The challenge for me was learning to be honest. And when I say learning to be honest, I mean learning to be honest with myself. That is such a difficult challenge for most people, because when I think back on the days when Jesus was here, the greatest problem that mankind had, or even before Jesus came, the greatest problem that mankind had was being able to resist the flesh and being honest about it. Being honest about the flesh. We put ourselves so much on a pedestal and mentally psych ourselves out to where by the time we look up, the devil has challenged us. He's challenged us, and then we wonder why we keep falling. Why do I keep falling? I don't understand it. What's wrong? Why do I keep falling? And the thing that I focused on this year was just being honest with myself. And I remember a conversation I had with my mother. And I think I cut myself or something. I was telling my wife about it. I cut my arm or something. And I was like, whoa, this thing hurts like the dickens. And she was like, no, you can't speak negative. And I was like, wait. No, it hurts. It really does. I'm not speaking negative. I'm speaking truth, because it does hurt. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm being submissive to the pain, but it hurt. So I kept it real. And in doing so, it helped me continuously keep it real with whether, I didn't feel good about something. I was able to speak up. And a lot of times we as men don't do that. We want to keep it internal because, you growing up, if it hurt, you considered a little punk, or you weak, or men can't cry. You heard all of the sayings. So that challenge for me, the greatest for me, was just being honest with myself. And I think that when you're able to be honest with yourself, it opens up the floodgates for you to be able to be honest with others. So when God would implant something in me to be able to share with others, I was able to come from an honest place. Not something my grandmother said, not something my mother said, not something my brothers experienced, but something that I was able to say, hey, this is me. This is what I went through. So the greatest feat from that is I was able to be married another year. Amen. Greatest blessing.
Well, that's right. If we gonna that's real talk. Keep it
That's
100.
real. Yeah,
That's so
I
true.
was able to be married another year because there's so many marriages falling by the wayside for whatever reason.
Exactly. And after even a long event like Chris Rock, they just released a statement. Him and his wife are after 19 years of marriage. It's on the news.
It's probably because of that movie. Now,
No, he probably got
That
challenges
last
where.
movie.
I didn't see
What's the last
Oh,
movie?
this last
Did you
movie
see
he got
it?
out is
Top
crazy.
five?
Yeah, I heard it was crazy.
Really?
Yeah, it was crazy. A lot of sexual stuff, all that craziness.
Wow.
Oh, no, I didn't see it.
But the thing about it, to be able to have another year of marriage with being in this business.
Yeah. Because you got to fight.
Oh my goodness, this business is challenging enough. So to be able to be a part of this business and maintain a marriage is rough, because the devil, it's his playground. So he plays with our minds, he plays with what we see, and we have to have that foundation. If we don't have that foundation of God in our lives, it's a tremendous challenge. Even with the foundation of God in our lives, it's a tremendous challenge. But I'm blessed and honored to be able to be married another year to this amazing woman who I'm grateful to God for, because, she could go wherever she wants to go. She would never have a struggle when it comes to a man. But the thing is, I know she won't have the man, because I am. Come on, somebody.
But I got to tell you, I had my godson's parents. We come out of the record industry, and he was in the art department at Def Jam, and then he went over to MCA. And even as in the industry, being a VP over a department, he was saying, I have women kind of throwing at me all the time, and it seems like because they know I'm married, it makes me more desirable.
Mm-hmm.
And so he says, so what I do is I'm constantly talking about how much I value my wife, and I have to remind myself as I speak that I value her. I value the investment of her, you know, and he said, and it's something wonderful to be able to say, you're the only woman that we got 10 years of marriage invested, 10 years of being together, and 10 years of you being the only woman I've ever been with, you know, intimately and sexually. And so that is a rare commodity. And you do need Jesus to keep you anchored, because temptation ain't fair. Sin ain't fair. He will come up in the form of exactly what you want, you know, and you have to, you know, really start allowing the God who's in you to be guiding you and to get you out of that situation, and again be mindful of the value of what you have at home, you know.
Well, and to me the key to that is honesty. You know, when I think back on, like I was saying earlier, when I think back on the days of Jesus and the disciples, when I can imagine these men out in the fishermen, they out fishing trying to catch fish, and that's their livelihood.
Right.
And then this man just walks up and says, "Hey, follow me. I'll make you fishers of men." That the challenge of, if any of them were married, the challenge of, honey, I'm about to go over here and I'm about to walk with Jesus now. I just met him. So I'm about to go out here and we're going to do some other things. Right. And then the challenge, how are we supposed to eat? You coming home? When you coming home? I don't know. He just told me to come and follow him, so I'm out. I love you. So it's a thing where today in this society, even in this business that we're in, it's almost it's up and down. It's, you never know what's going to be next. And if your faith and trust is not rooted in God, it will have you twisted so, it'll have you so discombobulated. And I've been there. I've been at that place before. But thanks be to God, the growth in me is like, okay, you know what? What's for me is for me. It don't matter. It don't matter that I didn't get this. It doesn't matter that I didn't get that, because the next thing that God has laid up for me is bigger than anything I could have ever lost or imagined.
And I always say you have to don't trust me, trust God in me, because I'm prone to do all kind of stuff, lie, you know, steal. You know, I'm not above being able to do those things, but because I keep my heart anchored to the voice of God, you know, that's why the Lord says be evenly yoked, not just, you know, have your fire insurance, but, you know, when you're away, you know, she don't have to write, you know, as a partner, you don't have to write, direct, and produce a horror movie about, oh my God, what's going on, because you can say, I trust God in my husband, or I trust God in my wife, because the enemy will come and be in your ear, be like, he ain't answer the phone, or she ain't answer the phone, or I can't get I was watching this episode where Martin and Gina, she went on the road and he was going through, she had to go to California, and it opened up with him going through her suitcase, and he pulled out her underwear, and he said, Gina, why are you packing these? She's like, that's my underwear. He's like, these ain't your business drawers. You ain't taking these. And then he pulls out a toothbrush, and he was like, why are you taking this? He's like, Martin, it's my toothbrush. He said, no, if you're taking this, then they're too close, right? And so he threw that. And finally, it was like, you know, she was away and he was trying to reach her and he couldn't. And then one of her business associates answered the phone, and, you know, it was a guy but everybody was in a room, and it was revelry going on. And then he was like, Gina can't come to the phone. And he ended up hanging up. And so he goes, Cole, Tommy, gas up the pacer. We're going to Chicago. It was the funniest thing. But his perception was one thing, but the truth was another thing. So he just looked so stupid when he got there, and it was the funniest scene. But at the end of the day, she was like, Martin, sometimes you're not here. You just out there somewhere. You just out there. And he was like, she's like, I can't even be mad at you. This is so stupid. And he was like, nah, Tommy and Cole, they the stupid ones for riding to Chicago all the way with me for 4 hours. But so you just have to know who the person is, and know that that the God in them is what's sustaining them and keeping them anchored to, you know, in oneness with you.
Yes.
Amen.
I totally agree with that. I think that's fantastic. I was reading in the Word this morning, and I was reading in Matthew's, and when Jesus was going about his journey and he was healing people, and he talked to the centurion man, then the woman said that had the issue of blood, she said, if I could just touch the hem of his garment, just if I could just touch it. And he taught, and everybody that he healed, he spoke about faith. He said, you are healed, your daughter is healed simply because of your faith. Not because you screamed and yelled and fell all at the altar and tarried for 20 hours, but because of your faith.
Right.
Not because you put on this big movie, this big scene, but because of your faith. And when the centurion man said, I've got people under me that I tell what to do, and I got people over here that I tell what to do, and then I got somebody over me that tells me what to do. So, but if you just speak the word, then my servant will be made whole. With that being said, it also is the same way today for us. If we just speak the word of confidence, to speak the word of truth, if we just speak the word of what we desire from God, it can be, it shall be. He said he would not withhold any blessings from us. But if we have the faith the size of a mustard seed, we can say to that mountain over there, be removed, and it has to be removed. But let's go to our spiritual mountains. Let's go to those mountains of fear, those spiritual mountains of distrust, those emotional mountains of not being able to have confidence in what God says he will do. It doesn't happen when we want it to, but it always happens when we need it to, right on time. Always. It never fails. We just have to get to that place mentally where we're saying, okay, God, I'm going to trust you. I'm going to trust you no matter what. You cannot lie to me. You cannot lie to me. And it's okay to get passionate with God. It's okay to get passionate with him. He wants us to give that passion, because if we don't give that passion to him, we will give that passion in the gift and the talent that he gave us. Yeah. And which one are we supposed to love the most?
Right.
We're supposed to love him the most.
Yeah.
So that passion, he wants it from us. Okay, he said, challenge me. Come on, see if I won't come through. I will come through. And he always does. Always come through.
There was another story you read this morning. I came downstairs, and because he was so quiet, I came down there and he was sitting there reading his Bible on the computer. Yeah. And it was another story about faith. And I guess he cast the pigs out.
Oh yeah.
Until they went over the cliff. Cast the demons out of the men, and they went into the pigs.
This story here intrigued me tremendously this morning when I read it, because we as people, we choose things that we don't need. And we choose things that are less of a challenge than the things that are right, that are more of a challenge. The story about the two men that were full of demonic spirits, and they were very violent, and people were afraid to walk past them. People couldn't go past them because they were violent. They were stopped. So Jesus walked up, and they spoke to him and said, what do we have to do with you today? I mean, why are you here, to torment us? Now, how you talking to Jesus, and Jesus is tormenting you, but you're the one that's being violent to everybody that comes through. So they said to him, well, you know what? Don't cast us out now. Let us go into the swine. And Jesus said, go. So they go into the swine, and then the swine run off the mountain, off the cliff into the sea. So the two gentlemen that were possessed took off and ran to the town, and they told everything. So the people of the town came all the way back, and they said to Jesus, we need you to go.
Weren't they? But they were mad because they lost the pigs, right?
Because they lost the pigs.
And the two men are healed.
The two men are healed that were violently attacking people.
But because the commodity of pigs was gone.
They'd rather have the swine
than
to
the
have the wholeness of the people.
That's crazy.
Isn't that crazy? But look at today. Yeah. Let's look at us today.
Exactly.
We would rather have the easy way rather than meet the challenge of being faithful, meet the challenge of being secure in our beliefs, meet the challenge of trusting God without a doubt. Those are challenges. And those are things that really not that hard to meet if we make the decision to do it. That's the challenge, is making the decision to just do it.
Or also what stood out to me from you talking is that what we place our value in and on. Yes. It's like we rather have the commodity of pigs and what it represents, maybe money, I don't know what versus seeing the people healed. And when you were talking about speaking, I was reminded what Pastor said, taking action, write the vision. He said, if you don't write it, it will tarry. He's like, watch what you say, but you speak. It's a God is a God of action. He's like, I've already done what I need to do, but you need to do the work to get to what I have for you. Because I'm not going to wave a wand and it's going to appear.
Right.
You'll be waiting all day.
Right. He also said, narrow your focus today. That's what Pastor Sanchez said, narrow your focus. And I think that's something else that for 2015 family out there, Gospel Rhythms family, we need to narrow our focus, because sometimes, like you said, being all over the place is bad enough. Our thoughts are everywhere, because we go from thinking about family to thinking about money to thinking about this and that situation, or our hearts, or we were hurt here, or living in the past. But if we narrow our focus, and he said realign and reassign, realign, I guess, our thoughts. Is that how you took that? And reassign your position in his kingdom, reassign your position, period, in life, and what it is you need to do so that you can start to focus more on what God's purpose is for you. Because when he has a purpose for us, it's not that it's not manifesting. It's just sometimes we're off track. Sometimes we're
or you just don't know
somewhere else, and we really don't know. But the faith thing, like I asked Pastor, well, you said you have to speak, but some people don't even know how to get to the point where they have the strength or know when or what to say to speak faith. They don't even know how to start at ground zero. So how do you get someone to start at the ground zero of faith?
Are you asking me?
I'm asking.
Oh,
you.
bless you. I'm glad you asked me that.
Come on, Reverend.
To start at the ground zero of faith, to me, is life and death. If what you were doing didn't work, then you got to try something else. So the ground zero of faith is, okay, God, you said in your word, I have not because I ask not. Okay, so I'm asking. Now, you promised that you would give it to me. So I'm going to challenge you. I'm going to give your word back to you because these are your words. That's ground zero. These are your words. So now, if you don't do it, that means you're a liar.
Okay.
And I got a right to say that.
And I got to add, in totality, you got to take God in the full context of his word, because it's not that cut and dry. It is condition based, and there is a role and there are some rules that you got to adhere to before you see the manifestation of the truth of what God's word is saying about your situation, about you in your situation. You want to say something?
Yeah, because I want to piggyback on faith, because I had the experience of having to put faith in the Lord. Not to go into detail, but I was incarcerated. They gave me 11 and a half to 23 months. I went from, I put it like this, from being on the front page for getting full custody of my daughter to be accused of a heinous crime that I didn't do.
To your daughter, or?
No,
Okay,
to somebody else. And when I went there, they put me from the intake block straight to maximum security. I felt like Job of the Bible because I was stripped of everything. And I guess he came to me and said that, just have faith. So I just gave it to the Lord. And from maximum security, they put me into the working blocks where I was able to walk in and out of prison without any escort. They gave me my own television. Then they sent me to what they call pre-release.
Now, after how much time you had been in?
I would say about maybe 2-3 months into this. Because I only spent 9 months. And I volunteered to be in the kitchen. I was busting pots and pans. And the person who was the cook was getting out. So I asked who she had to replace him. So she said nobody. So I was the head cook, and I learned how to be a cook for about 125 people, 3 meals a day.
Oh wow!
And I'll say this, and still today, my omelets are to die for. My omelets was so good at that time that I had the warden every morning ask for one of my omelets. Wow. My point is, as long as I kept the faith in the Lord, he made this situation turn into a better situation.
Oh yeah.
And then when I got out, and when I came here, I'm fast forwarding, and I thought this was still going to be on my record. When I went and applied for the very first job that I got, when they did that background check, my record was clean. I don't know how it happened, why it happened, but then I realized, that as long as I kept the faith.
I can add to that.
Yeah,
I can definitely add to that.
Yeah.
I was in a situation where somebody lied on me and said I skipped the country. And then when I had a warrant for my arrest, and so I'm I'm like, okay, I don't be playing with the law when it comes to
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. So I called in. They said it was a federal situation. I called into the federal building, and they were like, Mr. Grant, we have no idea why there's a warrant for your arrest, but we don't want to come and get you. I said, cool, I'm coming to you. I went there. I sat down. I turned myself in. I sat down with the police. We had pizza. We went down. They took me down to Beverly Hills. It looked just like the movie on Beverly Hills Cop. They had lazy boy chairs and the whole nine.
Wow.
And then they took me down. Then I went down to downtown, and all of a sudden I got into a situation. I still didn't know why I was there. I'm like, okay, Lord, why am I here? But I'm put in a holding cell with, I'm gonna say killers and thieves. And,
Yeah.
And then I'm in the middle of this gang situation. I'm right stuck in the middle. And so this one Spanish guy says to me, he's like, hey, why are you here? And I said, I don't know. I have no idea why I'm here. I don't know, but I was told to turn myself in, so I did. I turned myself in. He was like, this ain't right. And he almost started a riot. He's like, this dude don't belong here. He saw something in me.
Yeah.
That I wasn't supposed to be.
Yeah.
So they took me out of there, and they took me way up to the worst area in the place. And I sat in this room by myself. And when I sat in the room, then they came and got me, and they put me in the population. And this is all in a matter of a day or two.
Right.
And I'm sitting in the population. I go and I sit in one section, and these brothers come over to me and say, you can't sit over here. I was like, what? They said, you cannot sit over here. This you have to be on our side. I was like, okay. So I got up, I went on their side, and then I remember, I'll never forget this. There was a white guy sitting down at the table, and I went over and I sat down and started talking to him. And he said, you can't do that. You can't come over here and sit and talk to me. I was like, watch. I sat down and I talked to him. Here comes an Asian guy. Here comes a Spanish guy. Here comes some brothers. And we sat around and we talked about the Lord. And we talked and we talked and we talked. They listened to what I had to say about my career and the people I've worked with. And they listened and we talked and we talked. And this old man came to me and said, okay, you did what you're supposed to do. You'll be out here in 10 minutes. Old man came to me and said, you'll be out here in 10 minutes. I still didn't know. I wrote this song while I was
wait,
in
who
there.
was the old man? Was he in the population?
After I rolled out, I didn't see him no more. When I went to look for him again, I didn't see him. Just to say thank you, I didn't see him anymore. But I wrote this song while I was in there. It said, go ahead and cry, it's all right. I'll be by your side through these troubled times. Just like the sun lights the day and the moon lights the night, I promise on my life it's going to be all right. When God gave me those words, and I remember giving those words to them, encouraging them, because people were in there for embezzlement, just different things they had done. So when I got out and I went in front of a judge, and the judge was trying to explain to me why I was there, she said, Mr. Grant, do you know why you're here? I said, no, I have no idea why I was up in here. And she said, well, there was a report that you have been living in a whole nother country for many years. And I said, I've been living right here for the past almost 15 years. And then when I was able to give her addresses and all this kind of stuff, I was released. Then the Lord gave it to me while I was there. He said, they need to hear my word too. They need to get it too. And then I went to Isaiah. Isaiah said, who will go for us? God said, who will go for us? And Isaiah said, here am I, Lord, send me. I told God that when I was 16 years old. Here am I, Lord, send me. Well, I got challenged to it. That place, there are people in that place. They need to hear the word of God. One of the ministers at my church ended up, not knowing this was going to come back around. One of the ministers at our church ended up getting in a bad business deal and ended up going. You would have thought somebody had passed away. The mood that was over the church. I squatted down. The Lord told me, tell her. You tell her what I told you.
Wow.
I squatted down and I whispered in her ear. I said, don't worry about it. God got him. God got him. He coming out. But he has to go in there to tell them about Jesus. So get joy in that. He'll be fine. That brother was on the front, second, third row this morning, praising the Lord.
Yes.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah. And the bottom
Lord.
line is, like you said, it's about faith. Because again, my first job working at a luxury apartment complex, and I was smoking cigarettes. When I first got here, I was smoking cigarettes. And they frowned about us smoking cigarettes because it didn't look good to the tenants. and I found myself hiding in the parking lot behind a dumpster, smoking cigarette. Well, all you see is just a puff of smoke. Then it dawned on me. I said, hold up, why am I'm a grown man? And I was staying with my sister, and God knew felt the sincerity in my heart. And I was taking a shower. It was on a Friday. I remember like it was yesterday. I said, God, I don't want to smoke cigarettes no more. And he knew I was sincere, and he took the taste out of my mouth.
Sir.
That's how God will do.
Yeah.
I mean, this one of the biggest standouts is that, you know, no matter where your life might end up in a challenge, whether it be with a child, you find yourself being accused wrongfully of a crime, or in pursuit of just doing life, you find out, you know, you have charges brought up against you for no reasons other than somebody made a clerical error and they just got the wrong Tony Grant, because that ain't like it's the most, you know, what do you call it, unique name. A lot.
Right.
Yeah. Or if you have a dream like Gospel Rhythms or Man Talk, you know, where we're trusting God to elevate the vision to another level. So as we walk in, you know, I'll go, send me, Lord, with what you've given us in our hands. But we have all these challenges and obstacles that seem to keep the vision tarrying and not moving and growing. And you get frustrated and you want to quit, but you can't. Don't quit on God. He hasn't quit on you. And just like your word says, what were the lyrics again?
What? Oh,
To
go
the
ahead
word.
and cry.
Yeah.
What? Go ahead and cry. It's all right. I'll be by your side through these troubled times. Just like the sun lights the day and the moon lights the night, I promise on my life, it's going to be all right.
Wow,
She was hoping you'd sing them.
No. God, it's all right. That's all right.
I was hoping you'd sing
No, but
them.
seriously, like those are the words we
Those are
have to say to
beautiful words.
ourselves in the midst of feeling like, man, this is the third year of this. We still seem like we haven't made as much traction as we probably could have, should have, would have. But you know what? That's why I love when, you know, Lord, he leads us to people that will if we just get out of a fear. And so I just start asking. I was like, you know, hey Van, can you help me elevate the game? And maybe I'm 3 years too late in asking you or trying to make an effort, but you know what? Don't give up. Keep pushing.
Exactly, and I introduced her to this gentleman that's beside me right now, Mr. Peter Gabriel.
Peter, he's an
You know
angel.
what I mean? So he's going to help her out.
Yay.
You know, and in God's time, He put somebody
Yeah.
in. You know what I mean? Because I've tried with other people, and they just did. Only other person that worked besides Peter is Purpose.
Purpose.
Oh yeah, and he's still a part of our team. He
Yeah,
did
exactly.
our music.
Exactly.
And we're shooting a video in February.
Yeah.
Music video. He's doing our music video.
Yeah. So.
And
I'm here, so let's
Yeah.
do
yeah.
it.
So you know.
we got time to work on the weight.
I will say this. I will say this. And I can only speak from my own experience. You lessen your cares, you gain more triumph. Because if you lessen your cares, you have more opportunity to be focused. And like what Pastor was saying this morning, focus. Focus. And there's less temptation when you lessen your cares. You know what I'm saying? So if we're about the work that God has assigned us to, not that He assigned somebody else to,
Yeah.
focus on what He assigned you to, then all the body will come together and make one whole man. So I think that if we learn how to do that, then we'll be fine. My life has been so blessed. I've been so honored. I've done so much. If God told me to sit down right now, I would be fine. I wouldn't be sad. I'd be happy because I've done more than some 80-year-old men have done. And I've got a lot more to do that He's lining up for 2015. But in all that He's given me to do, I want to be a better husband, a better father, a better man, and a better servant. I want to do all of those things. I don't want to be just a good person because there are a lot of good people, but I want to be a better servant for God, that to be able to bless His people, because when praises go up, blessings come down.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, He says, "Well done, thou good and faithful." What?
Servant.
So even in those roles, you are a servant to your wife. You're a servant to your kid.
That's right.
He don't say, "Well done, thou good and faithful." He's just servant, and I have to remember that all that He's called, whether it's my job, managing property, or with Gospel Rhythms, or being a friend, or whatever relationships God brings into my life to be a faith. And that's why I was letting Pastor know, like, I just want to be consistent and disciplined and diligent and faithful, because then I'll make the calls and be responsible and do the follow-up and all those things that are really important and germane to the faith action that has to be taken in order to see the seed germinate and grow and blossom into.
And you will, sis. You will. God has already manifested so much because we're still here.
Yeah.
And I know you know, Vaneric, that a lot of shows that have come through LA Talk Live, you know, they've come and they've gone.
Exactly, yes.
And even with the challenges that we've had with no sponsorship
Yeah.
for 3 entire years. Not that we don't want none, y'all.
we
Okay, let me
do.
just say this right now. We want some sponsorship, okay? But with no sponsorship, that right there is a testimony.
It sure is. It's God's thing.
Tony's testimony was he went there, he ministered to these people. God put him in. He didn't know why he was there. You didn't know why you were there because you knew you were innocent. But you went there, cooked them omelets. That man loved them. And now we're going to start the Gospel Rhythms. Happy Heavens. Food service.
Yeah.
Praise Jesus. We're going to have some Vaneric omelets in the house, y'all. Come on now, somebody.
Well, we are out of time, but we have to give some love to Vince and his beautiful.
Okay,
Yeah.
y'all.
Come on, shout it. Come on, run onto the camera because we got to give them. And you might as well come in the end of the year. Come on around here so they can see everybody.
Just come on. No.
Yeah, just come on down. Been on down.
Say hi to everybody. So listen, you all, we want to thank you. This is the last show of 2014. And I don't want to get emotional. But I'm so grateful.
I am. I really am. Thank you,
I'm
Richard
so
and Van,
thankful to
and thank you,
everything and everybody.
Thank you, Shantae. Thank you, Bernadette, who told me about this place. Thank you all. It's just been amazing. Every guest who's ever been on this show for the last 3 years, John McClure Jr., Veronica. God, I don't start naming names. I'm gonna forget. Everybody. Thank you so much. Various marks. Everybody who's ever sown into the vision. Thank you, Purpose. We love you. You're not here.
Yes.
And our family,
Thank
support
you.
family, extended family.
I
Our
have
moms.
a brother, Trayvon, that has been on here with his entire group, and they've blessed us with their music. Trayvon, it's your big sis, giving you love.
Yay.
And wow, y'all have an amazing 2015. May it be your best year yet.
I guess we'll say see
God's
you next
will
year.
be done. Mwah, we love you. Thank you. Thank you, Tony Grant.
Thank you.
You sang your face off at church today,
Oh
baby.
my goodness, yes you
Thank
did.
you for
Are you lucky
blessing
you got
us.
out of here without a selection?
I know, right?
Like Marvin Gaye. Can't you see what's going on? Through it all, gospel rhythm still going strong. Trusting God when it's good or when it's going wrong. Encourage other believers to keep holding on. Casting the vision and we making it plain. We the head, not the tail, so we won't complain. Here to lift up the downcast and the brokenhearted.